Basically, everyone I see is rocking the wrong build, so today I have for you the top 5 absolute meta weapons that you should be using right now. With the first one being an honorable mention of the WSP Stinger. Since it is a secondary, I didn't really want to add it to the list, but these things are absolutely incredible. A little bit inconsistent at times, but you guys should definitely try out this build. Sonic Suppressor to increase that range. There really isn't that much recoil, so the penalty isn't going to hurt you. Just so you have a little bit more damage range on there, we are going to be adding the short light barrel. You don't really need this. You could add something for the mobility, but the mobility is already better than like every other gun in the game, to where you should be able to pop off with the short light, and it's just going to make them feel a little bit stronger. 32 round mags, since the fire rate's pretty fast, you have to use them in the akimbo. If you don't got them in the akimbo, it's one of the worst guns in the game. And then lastly, we got the WSP factory stock. Not too many options that you could add on here, and so it's a pretty simple build. Here's the screenshot of the WSP Stinger akimbo. Now for the first gun on this list, this is going to be the WSP Swarm. You guys can see that this thing is going to have no recoil. If I'm in like a tournament or something, they say use the WSP Swarm, this is the one I'm going to rock. This thing is absolutely busted. So obviously for the muzzle, we got the quartermaster suppressor. You're going to see this on a lot of the builds today. I usually like to rock something else just for fun, but since we're going over the meta ones, I got to throw that on there. For the underbarrel, we got the Jack Slash, allowing you to move around the map a little bit quicker. When you can get to point A to point B faster, it really is beneficial in Warzone and multiplayer. We are going to be adding the high grade rounds. It's going to make it one of the best SMGs to use at range. You also are going to feel like you have hit scan most of the time, because the bullet velocity is going to be in the air, in the AR territory of like 720 meters per second. You are going to be blowing through ammo. You're not really going to be dying, so we got the 40 round mag on there. If you don't really feel like you need the extra ammo, obviously you can add an optic. If you want to add the barrel, like a short barrel, it's going to really maximize that mobility, or you can add the heavy barrel or something else if you want. For me though, I just recommend that magazine. And lastly, for the stock, the Rescue 9 is going to be the most balanced stock. Yes, the no stock can give you more mobility, the Jack Cutthroat can give you a lot of strafe speed, but the Rescue 9 gives you recoil control and mobility, so the gun's not going to really bounce around that much. It's going to be the best Superi for Warzone and multiplayer. Now some of these builds are going to be for multiplayer, but I'm going to show you guys variations of them, but whatever works in multiplayer typically works in Warzone. Just like this static HV class, this one is going to be the one that's going to be used in the pro scene at the World Series of Warzone. This thing is dumb broken. We got the quartermaster suppressor on there to eliminate a lot of that recoil. Yes, we are losing some of our mobility, but that's why we got the light barrel on there to bring that value back up. And then we also do get a little bit more benefits on there, and so now we get more sprint speed and tactical sprint speed, really making the weapon feel very light. And we got the Jack Slash on top of there, which really makes it feel light. Like you're going to feel very fast on the field. The iron sights really aren't that good. I found myself being more consistent with the MK3, although in Warzone I really do like the Jack Glasses optic. Makes it a little bit easy to use at long range. If we could add the high grade rounds, I definitely would take off the optic for that, but since we can't really add any other attachments, the rear grip is blocked with the light stock, we're just going to be adding an optic on there. This can increase the aim walking speed, the sprint speed, the movement speed, and the ADS speed. Keep in mind, your true sprint to fire speed is actually your whichever one of these values is going to be slower. Since the ADS speed is slower than the sprint to fire speed, your true sprint to fire is like 180, unless you go into the hip fire, but you typically don't fire the gun until you're fully ADS. And so that's just a little fun fact if you're making your own build, and you typically want to keep it below 225 milliseconds for your SMGs. Here's a little bonus class for the Core 45. I like the other one, like the Stingers and the Renetti a little bit more, but that one is pretty fun. Next up, this is going to be the STG. We got the quartermaster on there. Keep yourself off the radar and get a lot of recoil control. For the underbarrel, we have the paracord grip just to make it so there is even less recoil, and you have a faster sprint to fire, even though your ADS speed isn't going to change. If you have to go into a hip fire or something, it is going to be pretty helpful, although you could take off the paracord grip. Like if you're in Warzone, you want to take that off and then add the, I believe it is the DR79 combo stock. It's going to make it so you really have no recoil. Just in multiplayer, you don't really need that much control, and the paracord grip is going to be a little bit more beneficial, or you could even add the high grain rounds on there. 40 round mag is typically going to be the one if you're on the bigger maps or you're playing quads and things like that, a 50 round, but in most situations the 40 should be fine, so you have a little bit of mobility. You actually can play somewhat aggressive. For the optic, again, the Jack Glasses is going to be good for Warzone. Multiplayer, run the MK3 reflector. And then for the barrel, multiplayer, I really like the factory short. Allows you to play aggressive and just, you know, and feel like you're not like a slug on the map. You don't need that much range and recoil control, because this thing already has like a built-in very good damage range. If you are playing Warzone, you are going to definitely want to add the Heinricher C70 long barrel. This is going to be the best Warzone STG. And then if you guys want the screenshot, my favorite multiplayer one, here's one. And then you could also add the paracord grip or the Jack Slash. Kind of depends on however you're feeling in the moment. Now, let me show you guys real quick that this thing has really no recoil whatsoever. Very easy. Not bouncy at all. Like, you should be perfectly fine. Best gun in the entire game. Oh, another very good bonus class, the Renetti 2.0. That thing's crazy. No recoil. Better in multiplayer than it is in Warzone. Next up, this is going to be the FJX Horus. The FJX Horus really is kind of underrated. A lot of people don't use it because the damage range isn't that good, but this build has a pretty good damage range and basically no recoil, because we have the quartermaster on there giving you that gun kick control and the recoil control. Next up, we have the Sin 9 long barrel just to maximize that range, the overall damage range. Without it, it's a 11 meters, and the bullet velocity is horrible, making it feel like you're on a very high ping. Now with the long barrel, it's still going to be pretty bad. It's going to feel like you're on an iffy ping, but the gun has such a fast fire rate. It's super easy to use. It still is a meta weapon in the game. We are losing a little bit of our mobility and our sprint to fire speed with these two attachments, and so for the stock, we got the modest 30 stock on there to bring up some of those values. Still is overall a little bit of a slower one, but it just kills so fast when you're in that correct damage range. That's not going to really matter too much. For the optic, we got the MK3. Again, in Warzone, you're going to want to use the jack glasses. And then next up, we have the 48 round mag. This is just going to make it so you don't really have to actually, if you guys look at these two stats, a little fun fact is that they don't really change between the two at all. So might as well rock the 40 round mag. This is going to be my favorite FJX Horus. And I guess I can give you guys another bonus build if you want to use it in the no recoil version. Okay, I'll piece this together real quick. So basically all you got to do is add the conversion kit. This is going to be good if you're not that good at the game. You still want to have the quartermaster on there. For the underbarrel, usually I like the jack slash, and then you don't really need an optic. So then I would go over here and add something to increase the ADS speed, since ADS speed really isn't that good. This is one of my favorite builds. And then if you have the Ripper light on there, it's even better. The Ripper light is good on that first setup I showed you. Then you could even do the no stock. So another very good build. Obviously you could take off that, add the jack glasses or the MK3 reflector. Now let me show you guys real quick. I got my cat up here. W Luna in the comments if you see this part of the video. Let me show you guys that there's really no recoil. It's just I like the other one more because it's gonna fire a little bit faster, and so it's just gonna kill the enemies a little bit quicker, but you have less ammo. Last one on this list is gonna be the SVA 545. You guys got two different ways to use this. You can use it in the full auto, which is why I recommend in multiplayer, and then in Warzone you can just put it in the semi-automatic. I'll give you guys the variation. This is gonna eliminate all the recoil on the gun, making it super easy to use. Now for the class, we are going to have the sonic suppressor on there. A lot of people would use the quartermaster suppressor, but you want the sonic because there already is no recoil, so might as well increase that damage range. Now your bullet velocity is going to be like about 1,000, so now you're going to have like that hit scan potential. Basically you're going to have hit scan up to about 50 meters. I got my other cat trying to climb my leg. For the barrel, we got the precision barrel. It's going to increase the aim and idle stability, making it easy to hit that first shot. When you hit the first shot, it's typically easier to land the rest of them. We also get some more bullet velocity range, gun kick control, and recoil control. We're losing a lot of our mobility, but that's not going to really matter for an AR. And then yeah, so now the gun's gonna be easy. 45 round mag on there, just so you don't have to worry about reloading as much. Obviously you could take that off maybe for like the paracord grip, or you could maybe add like the jack slash so you don't feel as sluggish in multiplayer. Warzone, you kind of want to keep something around here. The last attachment, really up to you guys. If you're on the really big maps, maybe you're on Warzone, you want to add the high grain rounds just to maximize the hit scan potential, maximize that damage output. And this thing, I believe it actually kills faster than the STG if you hit your shots, and so this thing is very underrated. I absolutely love the gun. And then you could go over to the stock, add the main V6. You're gonna have a little bit of a slower mobility, but let me show you guys this thing in full auto. Like, we don't really have that much recoil control attachments, but now there's, you know, it's just super easy. Make sure you strafe in the gunfight too. What I prefer is the jack slash, just so I don't feel sluggish. And this is going to be for the multiplayer. Warzone, typically you want to add the high grain rounds and use it in the semi-automatic. And I think that is gonna wrap it up for everything on this list. If you guys do find it helpful, make sure you leave a like. If you want to pre-order the best classes for Black Ops 6, drop a sub with the noties on, and deuces.